Welcome back. Before we look at data calculator, I want us to look at current stock so that we understand what data calculator really is. Let's click on current stock. Now in current stock, we have some data here or spaces for data that helps us to manage our inventory properly. Now the only one that is filled here is current stock. It shows us the number that we have in stock, but there are other data that are here. For example, we have the reorder point. What the reorder point shows is the point at which we must make an order for a particular product. Then we have the reorder quantity. It shows the number or the quantity we should order when we order. Then we have lead time in days. Lead time tells us about how long does the supplier usually take from the date we order to the date they deliver. Then daily demand will give us a number of our average daily demand over an historic period. Safety stock is the amount of stock that the quantity that we had to our order quantity in order not to run out of stock. Then we have reorder status. Reorder status will tell us what is our reorder status. Now the reorder status here says okay because we have 28 in stock and we do not have anything in reorder point. Now that means reorder point is assuming that the reorder point is 0. So the reorder status is telling us that we do have enough in stock, and that's why reorder status is okay. Overstock point tells us about the point at which we have too many of a particular product. Then overstock status also tells us the status of our overstock. The reason that we are overstocked and yet we have reorder status is that we have too many of these products in stock for now. So this data here helps the manager to know where, for example, when to order something or when they have too many of something in stock. And that is what data calculator is, the place where we get the data that fills these empty spaces. So we are going to look at data calculator to see how this works. Remember, for slide and fill, let's copy its product ID. For this slide and fill, we have 28 in stock, but we do not have most of the data. Let's go now to data calculator. Here is data calculator that will help us to calculate data. So let's search for slide and fill and see what the data is. Here is slide and fill, and we can see most of its data are empty. Now the data calculator does not work or start to work on the first day that you install this system. It will work over time. After say 6 months or 1 year, when the system has been able to gather data from the data, gather information from the data that is entered into it. So in order to start, we have 3 historical data. The first one is annual demand. You can know that annual demand cannot be determined on the say about 1 year. Then the lead time in days, you cannot know how soon a supplier unless you've had a history with that supplier. Then the maximum daily demand is the same. These are historical data. When we are able to get these 3 historical data, we are able to calculate the rest of the data that we need from this system. So for the purpose of demonstration, let us enter an arbitrary number into the annual demand. Let's say 1,000. And once we enter that, the average daily demand will be calculated by the system. That means we are selling 2.74 units of that of slide and fill in a day on the average. Then lead time, let's say the supplier takes 7 days to supply when we order. Lead time in days is 7. Then that will help the system to calculate the lead time demand. What is lead time demand? That is the demand during the time that you are out of stock or that you are waiting for stock. Then we have maximum daily demand. Then we need to enter a maximum that we have ever sold. Let's say for this product, the maximum we have ever sold in a day is 7. We enter 7. That will also help us to calculate the reorder point. So the system will calculate the reorder point. And now you can see that all our data have been populated. And the reorder quantity from all this data, the system has calculated for us that we should order 21.10 when we order. So let's save that, and then we go to update all. It will ask for our password. And once we have done that, we save again, and then we go out of stock data calculator. Now let us go back to current stock and see what has happened in slide and fill. You can see it was empty before, but now it has been calculated for us, and this will help the manager to know what is happening in his stock, what actions to take. And even all this will be sent to notifications, but I don't want to go into notifications now until we get to notifications. So that is what data calculator does in PharmaSys. When we come back, we will look at notifications.